Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video. I'm titling this one Prep for the Fight. This happened to us very recently. In our 5e game, the group was tasked with eliminating a pair of very powerful bad guys. We knew what they were, and we had time to prepare. We thought we'd been so smart in avoiding most of the encounters in the lower sections of the castle. The dungeon master, my son, gave us ample opportunity to get ready for them, and we did what we could. The problem was, I can't really tell what the other people's problems were. I know what mine was. I prepped for a fight rather than for a general fight rather than specifically what we were going after, and that shouldn't have been. The problem as I see it was that everyone had designed our characters, 20th level powerhouses, as offensive juggernauts, and to be honest, I think a few of them underestimated my son. I'm so very proud of him. He runs 5th edition like I run 1st edition. He plays bad guys like the intelligent, resourceful, and powerful monsters they are. And truth be told, I got used to playing 5e with nice dungeon masters. I forgot who the DM was and who taught him how to play. As a result, my character is dead. I love my kid. He's freaking awesome. My character died. My son is awesome. Anyway, before we get into this, let me go here. If you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you would hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. And if you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all 7 of my books there. I like to think I write good stories that make you think. Prep for the fight. The purpose of this video is to give players ideas on how to prep for an upcoming battle. I'm going to split this into 2 separate categories, general and specific. General prep is stuff that a character can do, which is generally good for any upcoming battle. Specific prep is stuff that a character can do when they have information about the bad guy they are going to fight. You obviously want to deal damage, but lessening or avoiding damage altogether is also important. General prep is stuff like making sure your hit points are as high as possible, preferably maximum or more if you can. Healing spells, aid spells, bless spells, detect magic, true seeing, protection spells of all kinds, the different invisibility spells, bark skin, stone skin, armor spells, shield spells, fly, monster summoning spells. Polymorph spells, ultra vision, phantasmal force spells, alter self, etc. These spells can always be used to either prevent your character from getting smacked around like a toothless crack whore, which is what our son's doing to us, or they allow your character to see things that normally they could not, or they could even do more damage than they could. It allows your character to do more damage than they normally would. These things can always help out in any general melee. And this is by no means a complete list of the various things you can do to prevent yourself from taking damage are almost infinite. I mean, you're limited by what your character can do, but as a group, one player can cast spells to affect a bunch of others. So you can cast Bless on a group. You can cast different protection spells on the group. Okay? It is a team game, after all. I think in this particular scenario, a lot of our people forgot that. The cleric tried to do some nice things, but that's about it. And I'm guilty of that too. So I made a character who could sneak around and he was a rogue wizard, so he could sneak around and do things, but he was He was woefully unprepared for what we were going to face. And when we found out what we were going to face, I should have, we should have waited, got a long rest. In 5th edition, it's a long rest. But we should have waited and rested and picked different spells for the next day so that we'd had, been better prepared. We did not do that. And it's our fault. We are experienced players for the most part. Somebody should have said, hey, wait, let's rest and then come at this fresh the next day. Did not do that. And we are getting smacked around like toothless crack horse. That is what is happening. Now, generally speaking, there's a number of things any player can do to prevent damage to yourself, and I listed a lot of different spells. If you're fighting a big bad guy, chances are they've got magic, and you want to have magic on your side as well. So that's what I pretty well concentrated on. Fighters, you just want to be, fighter types and thieves, you want to be stealthy. You want to be as tough to kill as possible. Wizards don't have that luxury, being as tough to kill as possible. So they have to rely on spells like Stone Skin and, aid and for clerics and things like that. But the idea is to make yourself as formidable as possible before you go in and fight the thing. Now, if you know things about the bad guy that you're going to face, you can tailor your protective spells for them. Protection from undead, protection from fire, resist cold or fire, anti-magic shell, etc. Protection from fire will be useless against a white dragon, and anti-magic shells will be useless against a normal beast. But knowing about the bad guy lets you pick and choose your protection and your weapons. One moment. A little coffee there to wet my whistle. Lastly, the entire group needs to be in on the plan. This was one of the problems we had as well. One of the things that got my character killed in my son's 5e game is that there was no coherent plan, and we failed to make use of our character's strengths against their weaknesses. And every enemy has weaknesses. We knew about the bad guy, so, we should have been able to, but I should have moved away from the group and maneuvered for a surprise attack because I'm a thief, a rogue, they call it. That way I avoid area of effect spells and make use of my backstabbing abilities. I did not do that. I was trying to support somebody else's attack, and that just didn't work. I should have maneuvered away like I normally do. The basic key here is to make a plan. This plan needs to be as detailed as possible for the bad guy you're facing, but it needs to be flexible enough to allow for unexpected occurrences. Remember, no matter how well you plan, the bad guy will not play along. In our 5e game, 2 pairs of players were tentatively working together, but not as a quartet. The rest of the group was not in on the 2 plans, and it quickly degenerated into a free-for-all. Our group of 6 right now has 1 dead, 2 down, and everyone else is nearly down. I honestly expect a TPK within the first hour of our next session, barring something drastic and unexpected happening, and it's all our fault. My son is not a killer dungeon master. He plays the bad guys the way they should be played. And we just screwed up real bad. That's what happened. In summation, defenses are as important as dealing damage. Ask anyone. Teamwork in the form of shared protections and tactics is, oh my God, important. A viable plan with options to deal with foreseeable circumstances is paramount. Flexibility of plans is important because every bad guy will surprise you. Every bad guy has something up his sleeve. You need to know every character's strengths and weaknesses. Stoic mystery is great for storytelling, but will get player characters killed in tabletop role-playing games. If you have 5 or 6 players, and 2 or 3 of them are hiding stuff because they want to be mysterious and, they want to be cool, yeah, that gets people killed. It's great when you're writing a book, because, I write books. It's great when you're writing a book, shitty when you're in a role-playing game. Just saying. Players, whenever possible, need to sit around and plan an attack together. Have an objective and a means to achieve that objective. Find ways to make that happen. Have multiple options to fall back on when plan A fails, because it will. The basic gist of all of this is, when you're going to face a bad guy, prepare accordingly. When you're going to face a bad guy that you know about, you can plan accordingly really well. We fail to do that, and we're getting our butts handed to us. It's that simple. Oh, I am so proud of my kid. He plays D&D like I do, and he plays monsters the way they're supposed to be. A monster's supposed to be fearsome. Well, oh my God, this one's fearsome. There's 2 of them, and they are badass. If the group is going through a dungeon and the worst thing they face is, oh look, it's one of those, let's get him. No, the dungeon master is doing a disservice to his players. Sometimes players need to have the fear of the dungeon master put into them, and my son does that well. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. There is a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. When the police detective, who happens to be a skinwalker squirrel, uncovers a plot by a paranormal perpetrator, he has to enlist the aid of his fellow housemates. If you enjoy a modern, quirky take on historical mythology, check out my new original novel, The House Off Farrago Road.